Heck of a win for us last week. Was fun to see how that thing played out there in the fourth quarter. Some things offensively, some wasted opportunities, drive-wise at least. Too many 3-and-outs when you look at it. But really proud of our guys and how they responded there. I want to say like 5 minutes left, taking it 91 yards and scoring the touchdown. So that was huge. That was huge, and our defense playing complementary football with us, and huge win for us on the road. It was awesome.
You guys have dealt with injuries all year long. Sharks have been out a substantial time. You've been without Swift, but still you're ninth in total points and top 10 in total yards and passing. Just what does it say about some of the guys that have been able to step up? The Kennedys, some of the offensive line guys, Khalif Raymond, and you guys have still been able to kind of stay pretty consistent. 4 games at 30 plus, even dealing with all the injuries that you have on offense.
Yeah. I don't know if we've been playing the caliber of football that we really expect from ourselves right now, to be honest with you. Statistically, you can say what you want, but I do think we're finding a way to stay in these games, and these guys are fighting hard together, and it doesn't matter who we have out there. Linemen that we weren't expecting to play during training camp are starting for us. That's not a problem. Receivers, same thing. They're stepping up. They're doing their jobs. They're executing. Everyone understands their role going into a game. And so I think that's why we've had the success that we've had. And we got to continue to focus in on the details to have even more success offensively.
It's not a logical halfway point to an NFL season anymore, but you're past that halfway mark. As you've kind of reflected on your own growth this season, where have you seen yourself improve and learn as a play caller?
I don't suppose I've had that time to reflect on that quite yet. End of the season, I'm sure I'll be able to think a little bit more on that question. But certainly every week we as a staff, we've come up with, I think, a sound game plan. There's only been 1 week so far this year that I've been disappointed with too many of my play calls. Every week there's a few that you want back, but there's only one game this year that I really felt like I didn't help us offensively enough. And that's a situation where you acknowledge it, you learn from it, and you don't make those same mistakes again. So I do think I am growing as a play caller as we go. But like I said, I haven't really thought about it in depth beyond that.
They ranked second in third down percentage and red zone percentage. When you look at that, is there anything specifically schematic-wise that they're doing, or is it they just happen to
No, man, this is a good crew now. Coach Martindale has these guys going. We played him last year when he was in Baltimore, and the similarities are there. Personnel is different, but schematically they're the same for the most part. And it creates a lot of issues for an offense. They put stress on an offensive unit, probably more so than most defenses in this league. So we carry a lot of burden identifying these looks. We have to be able to communicate, be on the same page in order to execute this week. But third down, it is man coverage, it's fire zone, it's pressure left and right. They're loading it this way, bringing it that way. I mean, for an inexperienced player out there, you could see where guys would have their heads just spinning. And so that's our challenge as a coaching staff, to try to simplify it for our guys and then execute there on third down. But we haven't been great on third down. Last couple of weeks we've been a little bit better, but it's still not where we need it to be. And so we've got our work cut out for us for sure.
There's 2 Giants players I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
One's Kayvon. What have you seen from him in his rookie year?
I see a dynamic young player right now that's getting better every week. You see the traits, the twitch is a pass rusher right now, where he's going to be a handle as he continues to get reps and experience. And really, I mean, he's a freak athletically. So you just we got to be aware where he's at, and then it's not just him, because he can feed off of those other guys up front. They have a lot of really good players on their defensive line that help create one-on-one situations for him right now, and he's reaping some benefit that way.
The other guy is Kenny Galladay. I know you're not game planning for him, but you're one of the last guys left on the staff who was here when he was here. So I'm just curious what it was like working with Kenny, and if you're surprised at all by his lack of production in New York.
I haven't I haven't followed too much of Kenny's situation. I just know from his time here, loved him as a player. Loved being in the meetings with him, practice field, game day. He was always a good, productive player for us when he was here. But I can't speak on to what's going on in New York with him.
Back to what Justin asked, what was the game that you didn't like, and just what did you identify from that as to maybe why, I don't know, your calls weren't?
It was actually 2 weeks ago against, shoot, who did we play? What's that? It was Green Bay. Yeah. Get my wires crossed a little bit there. Yeah, I wasn't very happy. Yeah, I mean, it started with the first drive. That 4th and 1 call wasn't very good by me. And I had a couple in that game that weren't very good calls. So learn from it and move on.
Too creative or not creative enough, or what was the, like, what did you identify as to maybe?
Yeah, I know exactly what happened, and I just know it's not going to happen again. I'll leave it at that.
With Jamal, he's been such an important piece to your offense this year, but he's also on track for a career high workload. How do you weigh things like that as you progress into a season about just, putting too much on a player's plate, something beyond what they've ever done before?
You don't know until you start pushing the limits what someone's capable of. So just because he hasn't had the workload that we're giving it doesn't mean he's not built for it or he can't handle it. The opportunities are arisen for him and for a number of other guys too, where they're getting more reps than maybe we thought going into the season with injuries, or they're playing really well, and so they naturally get opportunities that way. So he's reaped the benefits, and like we say every week with him, he is Mr. Dependable, Mr. Steady, and we know exactly what we're getting with him. Like, there was no doubt 4-minute offense last week, that 3rd and 8, that he was going to get the first down, he was going to get down, and he was going to seal the game. We knew that already. That was our plan.
I know you didn't coach with him in Miami. I think you just missed overlapping with Brian. You've got plenty of your own coaching, influences your background, but how much have you studied or watched what he's done, given the effectiveness he's had in this league? And is there anything you've ever, taken from him and kind of implemented into your own philosophy?
I can't say I have. He does a great job of getting his scheme to fit his personnel, probably more so than most coaches in this league, because he can morph from, okay, I got Josh Allen and we're a little bit more spread out and getting the ball to these playmakers. And then now in New York, they're a little bit more run heavy and feed Saquon, it sounds like. Miami, before I got there, was the same thing. They were a little bit more ground oriented. They had Reggie Bush and a really strong offensive line, and that was really what he leaned on. And then he went to the college game at Alabama and was probably more spread RPO from what I can gather. So he's been able to really weave in and out and mesh his scheme and philosophy to who he has. And I think that's a great trait for any coordinator or coach.
Over the next 7 days for you, I mean, I know you're focused solely on the Giants right now, but does some of your staff start working on the Bills, or how do you sort of, prepare for it?
Yeah, I mean, we were conscious of how this worked. We got the Thanksgiving game every year, so we were well aware of how this thing operates, and it's springtime, it's training camp, it's up until the Thanksgiving game. That's always in the back of our head every year. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we've got guys looking at that. We always have guys scouting ahead a few weeks, so we'll be prepared there.